Have you ever driven past an old abandoned house and thought, that place looks haunted, and then kept driving? Yeah, smart move. I wish the people in this story had done the same, because some houses, they don't forget. They remember every scream, every secret, and they wait for you. It all started like every other classic horror setup. 4 friends, 1 car, and a road trip. There was Jake, the funny guy who thought he was Ryan Reynolds, but cheaper. Melissa, the Instagram queen, obsessed with aesthetic sunsets. Sam, the history nerd who could turn any story into a lecture. And finally, Claire, the responsible one. Basically the group's mom, minus the minivan and snacks. They were driving through rural Pennsylvania because Sam had this amazing idea, a weekend in an old Victorian house he found online for dirt cheap. Warning sign number 1, right? Cheap plus old house equals every horror movie ever. But hey, the Airbnb review said charming, full of character. Yeah, sure. Character as in demonic? Anyway, they pulled up to the house. It was massive, gray with vines crawling up like nature's version of creepy fingers. Melissa immediately took out her phone for a TikTok because, obviously, and the caption, haunted vibes, but make it aesthetic. Little did she know the house would be posting about her soon. When they stepped inside, the air felt heavy. It smelled like old wood and something sweet. Too sweet. You know what a place smells like it's trying to hide something? Like spring perfume over a dead rat? Yeah, that. And before you ask, no, they didn't turn around and leave, because horror logic says this is fine.
Inside, everything was dusty but weirdly organized. Like someone lived there but didn't like people touching their stuff. There was an old piano in the corner, a giant staircase leading to darkness upstairs, and paintings on the wall. Except the eyes, they looked too real, like I'm watching you real. As night fell, Jake, being Jake, found a Ouija board in a drawer. Classic, right? He joked, when in doubt, summon a demon. Spoiler alert, don't. They started messing with it. At first, nothing happened. Then, the planchette moved. They all laughed, thinking it was Jake. But Jake was laughing too. And then, the board spelled something. Remember. Creepy? Oh, it gets better. Melissa filmed it for TikTok, because cloud over caution, right? And then she noticed something on her phone screen. Behind them, a figure. Just standing in the dark hallway. And no, it wasn't Sam in the bathroom. He was right there, looking pale like he'd seen his GPA drop to 0. They tried to leave, of course they did, but the front door was locked, deadbolted from the outside. Windows won't budge. Jake even tried the old shoulder smash move. Spoiler, the door won. That's when Sam dropped the bomb. He had read about this house years ago. It used to belong to a guy named Thomas Gray, a collector of memories. Creepy guy, obsessed with keeping people in his life forever. And guess what? Every person who stayed here after 1953 disappeared. Melissa laughed it off, saying, "Guys, this is just old TikTok lore." Then the piano played, by itself. One note, then another, then a whole tune. And let me tell you, Beethoven never sounded so terrifying. Things escalated fast. Lights flickered, shadows moved where there was no one, and those paintings, yeah, the eyes started following them for real now. Like if you blink, you miss it, but they move. Claire, remember, the responsible one, tried to call for help. No signal. Then her phone screen showed a live feed of the hallway, except no one was there in real life, but on the screen, someone was crawling fast. They ran upstairs, because why not go closer to the dark unknown, and found rooms filled with belongings, toys, clothes, old photos of strangers, people who stayed here, people who never left.
Melissa finally checked her TikTok video from earlier, the one with the Ouija board. The comments section was blowing up. People were saying, "Look behind you." Every time she replayed it, the figure got closer, frame by frame. And then, the last frame, it was right behind her, and then her phone died. Just black screen. But before it did, one last notification popped up. Remember. They finally found a door to the basement, because every good nightmare needs a basement. It was open. Inside were shelves, dozens of jars, with names scratched on them, some still moving, like something was inside. That's when they heard it. A voice, low, calm, coming from the dark corner. "You came back," it whispered. They shone their flashlight and saw a man, or what used to be a man, skin stretched thin, eyes too wide, and in his hand a jar with Melissa's name on it. They ran, through hallways that kept changing, doors that weren't there before. The house was alive, twisting, laughing, and then silence. Jake turned around. No one was behind him, just an empty hallway. Except it wasn't empty, because when he looked closer, the hallway walls were covered in new paintings, fresh, and the faces, his friends. And the last thing he heard before everything went black was, "We remember." So next time you find a cute old house on Airbnb for cheap, maybe just book a hotel. Safer, cleaner, and, less likely to eat you alive. If this story gave you chills or made you check behind your couch, hit that subscribe button for more creepy tales. And hey, don't forget to turn on the bell, because you never know when the next story will come knocking. We remember, and so will you.